Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we have a fantastic lineup for you for the show. We are very excited to be talking about autumn/fall issues with Dr. Adam Cayot today, as it may not feel like it quite yet, but we are actually heading into autumn.
Autumn.
Invitation is the highest form of flattery, by the way.
There you go.
I'm also thrilled to have Tina Vida here with us in the studio. We're going to be talking about the Iberian showcase, which is very exciting. We're also going to be talking to Alex from Heart of Florida Health Center about their wonderful opportunity for farm workers to go to their migrant health fair. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. All airing live now on Facebook and also several times a day, all week long on the Equus TV network. And then don't forget to tune in on Saturday mornings on 97.3 The Sky. And please like us on social media and follow us on Instagram. We're going to start off with some news and announcements. What are you excited about in January, Dancing Pete Rhoda?
9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th at the World Equestrian Center. We're going to have the Mounted Police Championships. And you and I were asked to be
celebrity judges and media sponsors of this wonderful event. And January sounds like it's a long way away, but it's not. It's just around the corner.
It's a blink of the eye.
It really is. January 2025, and as Pete said, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And it is open to spectators to come and watch the Mounted Police Championships, and they're coming from all over the country in teams to compete against one another. It should be very, very exciting to watch and lots of fun. The Migrant Health Fair that we're going to be discussing with Alex shortly is on October 19th, and that's from 9 to 1 p.m. And we're going to share that with you later on in the show, so make sure you stay tuned in for more information on that. So there are a lot of people suffering. The hurricane that came through here was scary enough, I think, for us, and I think as horse owners there's another level of scary, because we're not just responsible for ourselves, but we're responsible for animals that are domesticated and rely on us 100% for survival. So I think here in the horse capital of the world, everybody got extremely worried. There's 75,000 horses in our county, and that's a huge big deal when you're thinking about what do you do and how do you handle things. Well, that hurricane, of course, hit the Big Bend, and then it took off into the mountains and has done some absolutely horrendous damage throughout North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee. And
took out whole towns, mudslides.
Towns I've been to that makes it's absolutely devastating and heartbreaking. And there are lots of people still trapped. And obviously, that is an absolute top priority: is getting those folks out of there, lifted out of there. Getting supplies to them is absolutely a top priority right now. In the Big Bend, the top priority obviously is, trying to rebuild and help people put things back together. But because we are the Horse Talk Show, we always like to drill down on horse-related topics. So we would like you to know that there are some opportunities to make donations. As some of you already know, the Foundation for CEP, in my role in the equine initiative area of that, we have a foundation that does fundraise for equine disasters, and we will be taking some funds. We have agreed through our chair of our advocacy board to take some funds out. We'll be purchasing some hay and sending it to the horses that need it, and Mr. Larson has donated some bedding for us to also send. But there are some folks who are gathering now to get ready when we are allowed to get into those areas with items needed for horses. They will be delivered. So J&J Tack, you can check with J&J Tack on Highway 40. They're going to be taking in items there, grain, alfalfa cubes, hay, and pelleted bedding to send up. Also any items like dog and cat food. Quick shout out to Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch, who dropped off masses of diapers and dog food for me today to make sure that that gets delivered to the right folks. We have some other people going up taking items for two-leggeds. So
Two-leggeds.
We've got diapers.
We got kangaroos?
We've got diapers, yeah. We've got diapers and we've got dog food. So thank you, Neil, so much at Ocala Dog Ranch. I just packed all that stuff in my truck to drop off. So we're going to do what we can, and when we are permitted to be, in those areas, obviously we want to do all the help we can. The leaders are leaving with 7 horses to go and begin search and rescue there, also to get to areas that people can't get to with vehicles as roads are washed out, mountains have come down on homes. I have sat and cried my eyes out. It's just absolutely devastating to see what's happened to these folks. And I think a lot of people go up into the mountains thinking
we're safe
in the mountains because you're high up, right? And then things like this happen, and it's just, it's very upsetting.
I was in Colorado cowboying, and we had devastating fires, and the rains came and washed houses down the road. It's
just,
crazy.
It's an absolute devastation. It's heartbreaking to all of those involved, and I know there's people who have lost animals. I've seen rescues of dogs off rooftops, horses taken out of rushes, large rushes of flash floods. Just really, really is heart-wrenching to see this go on. So our prayers and thoughts are with everybody who were in all of those areas dealing with all of this. Our hearts absolutely go out to you and the losses of life that we've seen. And just so you know, we are here gathering and trying to get together as much as we can to get help. As soon as we're permitted to be there, we will be, and we're going to do all that we can to help families and their horses and dogs, and get as much help to you as we can. And if you check in with J&J Tack here in Ocala on what you can donate, there's also another website, Fleet of Angels, who are also absolutely phenomenal folks who do lots of wonderful work, and they're fundraising as well for the same cause. So you can do your Googling, check out who you're donating to, obviously, make sure it's legit, but help as much as you can, because we were very fortunate and blessed here in Marion County to deal with things like power outages and a tree down.
Branches and little twigs to pick up.
I put the back of my truck, I loaded once, with limbs. So I feel like we were very, very fortunate here to miss the worst of it. And I think we need to reach out to those that were not as fortunate and do all that we can. So,
on a more positive note.
Yes, on a more positive note, it's the 2nd annual Boo Splash.
Boo Splash.
I know, he's great, isn't he?
October 26th at 9 a.m.
And this is a costume contest for dogs, because if you're a horse owner, I guarantee you own at least one dog. And this is an international dog sport event at Ocala Dog Ranch. So make sure you check it out, October 26th at 9 a.m. And make sure your dog is wearing a costume, and you too. Coming back after this, we have Dr. Adam Cayot talking about fall issues for your horses. So stay with us. We'll be right back. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now, or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hooflink system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the CEP's Equine Initiative and the Horse Talk Show on Equus Television, and we are chatting to Dr. Adam Cayot at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And I was going to say we're going to talk about fall stuff, but Dr. Cayot thinks that sounds like fall because of my accent. So we're going to go with autumn issues in the horse world.
Yes.
Yes.
Autumn.
What autumn can bring on? Probably
Yeah.
change of weather. I see you're wearing a jacket.
Yes, exactly. Change of weather. Much needed change of weather,
Yes,
thankfully.
exactly.
A little break in the heat. So the most common thing we see in the fall or autumn is horses that have metabolic issues. Laminitis is the number one problem. And the reason is obviously those horses have problems regulating their sugar and metabolizing sugar that they consume. So as the grass becomes more dormant, the grass then concentrates its sugars, and so it concentrates its sugars typically in the fall and in the spring when it's coming out of dormancy. And so they're just out there munching away, and you have no idea that the sugar content is twice of what it was 3 months ago. And so they're loving life, and then all of a sudden you notice that your horse didn't come up out of the field or is having a hard time walking to the feed tub. That's typically the way I get, Sonny didn't want to walk up to the feed tub, or he's walking really slow and that sort of thing. So then we go out and typically they're having a bout of laminitis. The other thing that happens around here is all the oak trees lose their acorns. And so horses are out there eating acorns, munching acorns. Acorns are technically toxic to horses, but they have to eat a whole lot of them, toxic to their kidneys. But the other problem is it's like a concentrated feed, and it makes it really difficult. You have these beautiful oak trees out in the field.
We love the oak trees.
You love them, right? But that can present an issue as well. Knock on wood, I've not had, I've been down here 22 years now. I haven't had one acorn toxicity, so it's not very likely to happen, but the textbooks will tell you that acorns are toxic.
What should someone look out for with symptoms with that if they were concerned?
Well, just general malaise, they won't, they'll be acting sick, depressed, they may run a fever, those sorts of things. Then typically veterinarian will come out, pull blood, and a complete panel will typically show an issue with the kidneys, or the kidneys are kind of under siege, so to speak. And you can kind of deal with that as needed. So that's generally what happens. It's not like anything dramatic, like they become neurologic or anything like that. They just generally start getting sick. But far and away the most common thing in the fall is laminitis issues. And if you know you have a horse that is metabolic, you need to start being aware of that and maybe consider keeping them in off the grass for a number of hours during the day. At least get a grazing muzzle so that limits the amount of grass that they can get to, and try to prevent it that way. Certainly, we have drugs that can help, with metabolic horses, but the number one thing is diet for those guys. And
I'm glad you said that, because that is so important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it can be controlled. Probably 95, 98% of horses that are metabolic can be controlled with diet.
A lot like people.
Yeah, exactly. So do that. You feel bad for them because they basically have to either stand in a stall or have to be in a
grazing muzzle.
Dirt lot or a grazing muzzle, for a long time. But
He's a star.
You have to just be aware and know that, you feel sorry for your horse, but you're doing the best thing for their health.
Right.
They don't understand it.
Right.
So, you got to help them out there.
Yeah,
so.
True fact. And if you have a round pen or an arena area that's got dirt and less grass,
those are
that's
great.
always an option too, if you can do that. Now, in the fall and beginning of winter, when the temperatures start dropping, horses tend to drink less water.
Yeah.
So that's something to be really aware of as well, because of things like impactions and that sort of thing.
That's a good point. Yeah. So they do drink less water, and I had a run on impactions probably the last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks, I probably saw 6 horses that had impactions, and that's true. And so a couple of things happen. Number one, they aren't as hot, so they aren't drinking and they aren't sweating as much. The water can get cold, and they don't want to put their noses in cold water, and then the grasses dry out. So we lose the rain, and we lose all the moisture that's in the grass, and so.
And then we usually up the hay because there's less grass for them to eat, so we give them more hay.
Exactly. So and then that's the time that the round bale goes out there, and they start binging
Scorping
on
that down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they go from a nice summer grass, a lot of moisture, a lot of water, to fall grass, which is we're basically in a drought right now, and there's no moisture at all, and then they don't drink on top of it, and
I'm a big fan of the compressed bales. If you can feed Timothy or alfalfa, if you're used to feeding that to your horses, the compressed bales is a nice slow graze way, rather than dumping a whole roll out there that they can just gorge. They actually can go slower with a compressed bale. So that's a good thing to be careful about. And then I add a little bit of Himalayan salt to the feed this time of year to encourage them to drink a bit more, which is another option to help.
Exactly. Make sure they have access to a salt lick of some sort, or put it on their feed, and that'll encourage them to drink more.
To drink more.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So those are the most common autumn problems.
Yeah, autumn problems. Exactly. And I've seen all of them this autumn.
I'm sure.
Already,
yes,
multiple times.
you have indeed. So you can avoid them, hopefully, with some of these suggestions. That is a beautiful horse coming in.
Oh yeah.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative with Dr. Adam Cayot at Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Yes, don't rest on your laurels about your horses and think, oh, the grass is low now, so I can turn my horse back out to eat because it's not as lush, because you'll see that if you study this up and listen to Dr. Cayot, those sugars are going to drop into that short grass and be more concentrated, so you actually put your horse more at risk of laminitis. So don't be thinking, oh, it's okay. Be very mindful. We have a couple of other things that we need to mention that we're going to switch it up to. We've got a very exciting event coming up in November. It's just about 7 weeks away now to the Equine Industry Expo.
November 22nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And Hobby Horse Equestrian Games and All Breed Horse Parade.
November 23rd, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That's right.
At the Florida Horse Park.
That's right. The beautiful Florida Horse Park, free admission for all, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. This is part of the Equine Initiative presented by Piranha Animal Health. And we're very thankful to AgPro of Ocala and Advanced Staffing for being the presenting sponsors of the two events. Our other wonderful supporting sponsors, thankful very much to Pat Myers Electric for the wonderful parade we're going to have to show off many, many breeds that we have in the Ocala Marion County area and beyond. And this is the best in equine edutainment. I'm going to tell you the best, because not only is this an opportunity for all generations to learn about the horse world, but also a chance to try it on your own stick horse. And that's a lot of fun, jumping jumps on a stick horse. You know?
That's right. And we'll have stick horses you can borrow.
Yes, or you can bring your own. You can design a very creative stick horse. And there is a competition for the best stick horse, the best business stick horse, and the worst, wonkiest, ugliest, and weirdest stick horse. And no, Dancing Pete Roder's not going to win. Even though he thinks he can.
Even if I get even better one than I did last year?
And come ready to be videoed and droned and photographed, because Isaac is going to be there from Reach Video getting all of this on camera. So make sure you come ready to compete and win. There'll be ribbons up to 6th place in each class. And then if you stick around all day and you're the overall winner, there'll be an overall champion, and then there'll be a reserve grand champ as well at the end of the day. We'll be finishing things off around 4 o'clock. There's going to be a breed exhibit going on, so you'll be able to go and visit all sorts of different horses with our clown, Dancing Pete Roder.
Why do I have to be the clown too?
You have to be
Jeez.
everything for this event. There's a vendor village and food trucks and demonstrations, and it's going to be a absolutely fantastic weekend of horsing around Friday and Saturday. And we've got to wrap it up, but the good news is that there's grades credit at Marion County Public Schools for being there on Friday. So coming right back with Alex, we're going to be talking about migrant health fairs. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you very much to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we have a very special guest here in the studio that hasn't been with us before, Alex Ferko. It's very nice to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me be here.
Yes, tell us about your role at Heart of Florida Health Centers.
Yeah, so the Heart of Florida Health Center is what is known as like a federally qualified health center, which means that we're not for profit at all. In fact, because of some government grants, we can really focus on just helping the person and meeting them where they're at. And so whether you have insurance, whether you don't have insurance, that doesn't matter. We want to see you and we want to help you. And I think at first when you hear Heart of Florida Health Center, you think, oh, is this a heart place? Is this the Department of Health? What is it?
I have to admit, the first time I ever heard of it, I did think that.
I like to say, I'm fairly new to the Heart of Florida, but what I've learned is that we're Ocala's best kept secret, and it's just time to stop being that best kept secret. And really what we do is we're your one-stop shop, whether it's primary care, internal medicine, family medicine, optometry. We just had a ribbon cutting for.
Yes, the ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we have 3 pharmacies. Oh yeah, there it is. We have 3 pharmacies, as well as we do x-rays. We have a full dental inside a couple of our different locations.
Okay, that's more than I knew.
Yeah, it's
and maternity, right?
And maternity, yes. Yep. Maternity, OB, essentially from the
So
moment.
dance club?
On Fridays.
On Fridays, all right. Well, I'm there.
So you have to have the right shoes, though. But
okay.
it's really a place where when you get sick, it's already stressful enough. And when you add to how am I going to afford this, or what am I going to do, or who do I need to go see, it gets even more difficult. And we really just want to be that person that when you come, you can see us, we can take care of you. You know that you're going to be getting the best care possible, but also for the most affordable price, right? We talk about, we have this sliding scale. And so if you don't have insurance, we do a household income sliding scale, which means that we're able to just reduce the cost as much as possible, with the entire goal being that we don't want you to have to pick between your power bill and seeing somebody to get healthier or to receive your medicine.
Gosh, you need to be in every single town or county in America, don't you?
And I think for the most part, community health centers really try, but our goal is Marion County and the villages, and we're really passionate about helping the people here.
Now, I was listening to you and Louisa talking earlier. So what is it that you offer for the migrant workers?
Yeah, so on October 19th, we partnered with Chaplain Bob. Which,
Love
if you've
Chaplain
ever
Bob.
met Chaplain Bob,
He's the
Chaplain
greatest.
Bob is the greatest.
He is.
And we met over some Cuban food.
It was probably really good then,
it was
wasn't
so
it?
good. And
Bob
we're going to
Miller.
be meeting at the Ocala Farm Ministry, and we're going to be bringing out our mobile unit. We're partnering with the Department of Health. And what we've really seen is that the biggest difficulty in care is, 1, getting there. And 2, all of the effort it takes to get there once you're there. And so this isn't about getting any information or about collecting any data. We're not going to ask you to show up and go to this sign-in tent and fill out all this paperwork. No, we want to come and provide care to this community, in your community, but also free of charge. And so we're going to be doing regular health checks. We're bringing out our dental team and doing teeth checks and making sure you guys have the right care, whether it's fluoride and toothbrushes and the right thing, but also behavioral health and mental health checks, STI, STD, pregnancy tests, anything that you would think, man, I really need to see a doctor for, but I don't really have the time and I don't know how I'm going to do this. We want to make sure that we can show up right next door and give that to you.
Oh, that's huge.
Isn't it? I know. When Alex emailed me, I went, oh. Well, first of all, it's Bob Miller and Ocala Farm Ministry, which you can never go wrong with. Right. And then you've got Heart of Florida as such a wonderful powerhouse for this community to help everybody. And then putting those 2 incredible forces together in the same spot to help people who maybe have bypassed checking their weight. And we all know that if your BMI is way off, then there's lots of other things that follow that up. How wonderful to go in and get screened and know where you are, know what kind of health things you're facing and what you might even be facing in the future if you don't nip it in the bud. Yeah. And then the vision screening and the pregnancy tests and everything all. And a lot of people don't even think about the equine industry. Over $4 billion a year of economic impact in Marion County. And who do you think is behind all those farms doing all that work? And they're working, they're getting up at 3 a.m., they're at work at 4 a.m., they're outside in the heat all day, they're shoveling and wheelbarrow and cleaning stalls, they're riding horses. And are they getting themselves taken care of as far as their health goes? Probably not. And maybe for a lot of reasons. Maybe because they don't want to come in and give information. Maybe because they can't afford to go and see a health professional. So you are partnering up with somebody wonderful like Chaplain Bob Miller, who's a veteran, who we just love. He's such a wonderful guy. And going and helping our community and the folks who keep pushing the equine industry forward so that it can be the catalyst that it is in our community, and it's so important.
So Alex, tell me what the difference is, Heart of Florida, from other things you've been around or seen in the healthcare.
Yeah, well, I think you kind of pinpointed it with the two words. This is our community, and that's our goal. This isn't about helping the department in California. This isn't about going down south. This is our people right here. You know, I think the chamber, they said it in a speech a couple weeks ago, still to this day, over 200 people are moving into Ocala, Marion County a month. And if you've ever been on 484, I think you feel that. Or 200, or any road. Really, yeah.
Any road.
There's starting to be less and less you can take now. But the truth is, I think a lot of that growth and that prosperness that we're seeing as a town is built off the back of this community, of our community, and we want everyone to feel like that they matter to that. And so we're not here just so that we can ask you what insurance you have. We're not here to just have you as a patient. We're here because we want to help. And because we really, truly do care about the health of our community. No matter what life has done to you, whether it's been one step forward and two step back for the last 20 years, or whether you're just trying to make sure your family has dinner on the table tomorrow night, we want to make sure that your health isn't the sacrifice for that.
So that heart means care.
I was going to say, you're not just in the heart of Florida, but you have the heart for our community as well.
That's great.
It's full of it. It's full expanse. You know, we have 11 locations across Marion County and one in the villages, but 2 of those locations are even the Marion County and Sumter County Jail. And so from booking all the way to out, we want to provide care, because just because you've made a mistake doesn't mean life is over yet. And we want to help you as you get out, still be able to find that care. And so we understand that transportation and life just gets thrown at you fast, and we want to make sure we're as near you as possible. And so this is just another way of meeting you where you're at, because I think sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do, is just to meet someone where they're at.
Oh my gosh, you're spot on. How do people find more information?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram. It's the Heart of Florida Health Center, or you can visit our website at www.myhfhc.org, and you can sign up. You could call us. You could fill out any kind of contact form on that website, and we'll make sure we get back to you. That's actually kind of my thing, so I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as possible. And we just want to help you and make sure that you and your family have a successful future.
That's really awesome, isn't it?
That's great.
And they definitely picked the right guy for this, because
yeah,
you
just
don't,
how you said, Heart of Florida.
Yeah, you don't make it feel at all threatening or anything. You make it feel comfortable and welcoming, and I think that's really important.
I think he speaks from his heart.
Oh, he does.
I think that's Ocala is such a special place to me. I grew up here. I went through a lot of life has been thrown at me. You know, I lost my dad when I was 10 years old, and we had $14 in the bank account. We didn't know how we were going to eat dinner, let alone do anything. And I remember the next day we got a phone call from our church, and an anonymous person took care of everything.
Wow.
And so what this community, what Ocala has done for me and my family, I just want to give it back, because they were there when I needed the care, and now as the Heart of Florida, we want to be there when you need the care.
Wow. We're going to need tissues after
I
this.
know. Thank you
Thank
so
you guys.
much.
I really appreciate it.
Let's put the poster up one more time in this last minute. If you're watching, you'll be able to see the information for Heart of Florida, and they are doing wonderful things for our migrant workers. We're absolutely thrilled. That's October 19th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that is at the Ocala Farm Ministry on Northwest 110th Avenue in Ocala. And all that health screening, all that help, and it's all at no charge to help the migrant workers, completely free. Alex, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for letting me be here.
Absolutely. Love it. We'll be right back. We've got Tina with us, and we're going to talk about some Iberian horses.
Ooh.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. DAC, it makes a world of difference. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. Get noticed with eye-catching vehicle wraps that showcase your brand's identity and earn you more business. If you're looking for a custom-designed vinyl wrap for horse trailers, box trucks, cars, or pickup trucks, for a single fleet vehicle, or for 100, no job is too big for the Smash Wraps team. Make your appointment to set your business apart today. Find us on social media or at smashwraps.com. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
This show is brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that could talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we have a good friend here in the studio, Tina, and we are going to be talking about the Iberian showcase that's upcoming. Tina,
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
It's an honor.
It's wonderful. Thank
We're
you.
excited about all sorts of wonderful
I
things
am
that are
too.
coming.
I am too. It's amazing.
October's a phenomenal month.
I know.
For sure.
It's going to get busy.
It's going to get busy.
really
So before we get on the next segment, I want to talk a lot about the upcoming event, but I want to start with a bit of a history lesson. We have probably about 40% of our listenership and viewers are actually not horse people trying to learn about the horse world, which is why we started the show in the first place. So we love those listeners, but Iberian might be a completely foreign word to them.
I'm sure it is.
Or it's confusing.
I'm sure it is because most people don't understand what that name is, but it refers to today's Spain and Portugal. It's the peninsula in Europe. And the thing about the Iberian breeds is that they go back for centuries. They've been inextricably tied to mankind since really our earliest history. There are cave paintings in the peninsula, we call it the Iberian Peninsula, of horses that go back centuries to our it's almost prehistoric. And it's amazing how tied into our history, both in Europe as well as in the Americas, because there's a tremendous tie between what happened throughout Western, what we call Western history, which is European history, all the way through to our Western history in the Americas. So I'd love to share that, but we're going to be doing a lot of that also at the upcoming Iberian Horse Showcase.
How exciting.
So what breeds are Iberian horses?
The Iberian horses are from Spain and Portugal. In history, the Spanish horse was called the Andalusian because in the southern part of Spain, that's where they bred them for centuries, as I said. But also it includes Portugal, and those horses are Lusitanos. But the modern day breed associations call the Spanish horse the pure raza español, which is pure Spanish race, and the Lusitano is, I can't pronounce Portuguese, but it's the pure Lusitano, pure Portuguese Lusitano. And both those horses, they split the stud books in the 60s, so each country wanted their national horse, and so they split the stud book, but now there are many Lusitano breeders. The Spanish horse came here first, primarily, because they came really on Christopher Columbus's second voyage. So they've been here, and many people believe that the horses, all our Mustangs, our early Mustangs, came from the Spanish horses.
Well, you know by looking at my Mustang, Mr. Flynn, that he has to be, right? And actually, I had him tested to see what he was because it was interesting, and he was all Spanish.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, those are the two breeds. The pure, well, now people call them the PRE from Spain, and the Lusitano from Portugal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And beautiful, beautiful horses.
Yes, they have been. From the Renaissance into the Baroque period, they were considered the ultimate horse, and they were the horse of kings because all the monarchs throughout Europe had horses that were from Spain and Portugal, and it's written in many historical documents you can find. And they were also given as gifts between royal houses when there was a marriage. For example, Henry VIII, for example, married Catherine of Aragon, and she received horses. And another interesting point is that the English thoroughbred was established with Spanish mares. So when you start to go into the history of these horses, it touches on so many different countries throughout Europe and also here in the United States.
Well, it's interesting because I've been to Europe. I lived there when I was younger. And the horses that you see for the statues,
they're all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just put that together. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And when you watch, Hollywood movies that are based on, everything. Let's face it, even from Pirates of the Caribbean. What horses do you see?
Zorro rides a Spanish horse.
Yeah, that's what you see.
And the fact is, when you really go back in history, Homer wrote about these horses in Greek.
Wow.
That's how far, and even further back than that. And right on through, the Romans established, they wanted stock horses, and they watched the Iberian fighters of that time, of that era, and they were so incredibly great horse people, and as well as cavalry. And so they kind of adopted the Spanish horse and had remount stations throughout their empire. So William the Conqueror rode a Spanish horse. I could go on and on and on. So they have been, as I said in the beginning, inextricably tied to mankind throughout almost
and what was the first, I know the answer, but I want the listeners to hear, is what are the Spanish or the Lusitano or the other one?
Pure Spanish.
Pure Spanish.
Yes, you can just say Spanish.
What were they bred for initially?
Well, initially, of course, they were used in war early on. I'm talking about in ancient times. That's why the Romans revered them so much. They're very bold, but they're very connected to their human. And that comes from generation and generation and generation. I compare it to sometimes dog breeds that have been like working breeds. they have an innate understanding. These horses are the same way. They understand what that bond between their person and what their responsibility is, because they even, as I said, there have been many writings that have come down through history, and they were considered the ideal war horse because they were bold, but yet they were very sensitive to the rider. And so and they were very dedicated to the rider. I mean, if you read about El Cid, I mean, his horse stayed with him in battle. Alexander the Great's horse also did that. So there are animals that have been with mankind that when they know what they're supposed to do, it's a partnership. And they really have that. And when you also go into how many breeds have come from the Spanish and the Iberian horse, it's amazing, even in the Americas. There's an incredible book called The Royal Horse of Europe that Lady Sylvia Locke wrote. And she goes into all of the breeds that have been, have genetic ties to the Spanish horse. They really did a lot throughout history.
Fascinating.
Wow.
That sound means we have to wrap up, but the good news is we have Tina with us for another segment so that we can share with you how you can experience this incredible breed and actually see them in action.
Yes.
So stay with us for another segment. We'll be right back. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet, and to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed.
Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we are talking to Tina, and we have been talking about what you are watching right now if you're joining us either on Facebook or the Equus TV network. So if you are on the radio on 97.3 The Sky, our very favorite talk station, you're missing out on watching this. So you can just go to Facebook, find the Horse Talk Show and like us, and you can watch this while you're listening to 97.3 The Sky, as long as you're not driving down the road.
I was going to say, I knew who that was on the gray horse.
Tina, tell us about what we're seeing here. This is the most spectacular event that's coming up, right?
Yes, it is. It's called the Iberian Horse Spectacular, and it is one of the evening events. It's only on Friday. October 18th and Saturday, October 19th. I should know this, but I'm doing so much with this show, I can't keep things straight.
We never have that problem.
No, never.
They're going to be, but beyond the spectacular, I have to tell you about many of the other events that are going on in the showcase, because the whole weekend is called the Iberian Horse Showcase, and that is going to include free training master classes for the public to come into Arena 5 all day on Friday, all day on Saturday. We have a breed show for this pure Spanish horse that's going to be going on at the same time. We have the Lusitano Conference that's starting on Tuesday, and that's going to be going on as well as their breed show. The International Andalusian Horse Association is having their breed show. So all of these associations are going to be having special events, but I want to also tell you that we have Ibericon, which is the trade show that will be going on in Arena 5 as well. Wow. And the trade show is not just a normal trade show where you'll have incredible shopping opportunities there, but you'll also have the Equus Film Festival, which will be going on at the same time in Ibericon. Wow. You'll also have Little Herc's Kids Fest, which is going to have all kinds of fabulous things to do, including a hobby horse working equitation challenge.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be really exciting. And at the same time, I'll have a paddock there for trainers and people to meet and greet. And we have Olympic riders, Olympic trainers that are coming in to do these special demonstrations and these special presentations, and that is that is all free to the public.
And this is at the World Equestrian
Center. It's the World Equestrian Center.
Yes, ma'am.
That's in Arena 5. In Arena 6, the Iberian Cup Dressage Show will be going on. And on the outdoor arenas, there'll be all of the breed things going on. I mean, it's just...
So this is one of those shows that make me mad because I can't watch everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you want to be everywhere.
I want to be there. I want to be there. Okay, Louisa, you go to that one. I'll go to this one. We'll send Isaac to the other one.
I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. We're bringing... To have this convergence of so many different breeders, trainers, horses... It's going to be fabulous.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, yes. I mean, international. We have a contingent of international people coming.
It's really incredible.
It is. It is incredible. We have some of the best trainers of these horses and other horses, too, coming. So it's, and the fact that almost all of the events are free. Spectacular is not free. That's an entertainment evening for the family, and it's called Myth and Legend, because I want to go back into the history and all of the stories.
I got goosebumps listening. I know. Okay, is it tomorrow? Let's go.
So all of the myth and legend is basically about the history as well as how they're used, how these horses are used in modern times. But what's so exciting is that all of the riders are professional and also entertainment stars.
Yvonne.
In the equestrian.
Yvonne is an entertainer.
Yes.
Thank you, Yvonne, for connecting
Yvonne,
us. Beautiful, Yvonne.
Mario Contreras, who is one of the stars at Medieval Times up in Chicago. We have two dance companies coming down, one from Chicago. I mean, it's going to be a production like a real theatrical production. And that does, you have to buy a ticket for that. But all of the other events are free during the days. And that will be starting at, I'm having a pre-show with Stallions at 7.
How much is the tickets?
It's $20.
Oh.
You can't beat that, can you?
I mean, you can't beat that.
You can go to a movie for that, and this is going to be way better than a movie.
I know. It's going to be fabulous.
No
I mean,
comparison.
we have people coming from all over the United States, Missouri, Canada, I mean, California, not just from our own area. And this is going to be so exciting because what it's doing is it's introducing people to not only the World Equestrian Center, which has been written up in Time Magazine and everything, but also to Marion County.
Yes.
Because people that come here see how many breeds and how many farms. It truly is the World world capital for
it. Really is.
Yeah,
we have
really
over
is.
70 breeds of horses
I know.
here. It's incredible.
And when she finds 71, she's going to get excited.
Yes. So, I mean, that's kind of a capsulized version. There's so much more, and it's going to be going on daily.
Yes.
So
and you can find more on the website too if you have
we were
lots
on the
more
break,
questions.
We were talking about bullfighting. So tell us more about the bullfighting history.
Well, the bullfighting history is basically how the young nobles, when they didn't have warfare to do, they had to do something.
To get the ladies.
Decided that and ladies, and then they had to decide, well, what are we going to do? How are we going? And you know, bulls have been used for centuries, back in Roman times. I mean, way, way back. So they decided that they would fight the bull, basically. And if you've seen any, and I know a lot of people are kind of turned off by that. It's such a, it's, you know, centuries-old tradition in the Iberian Peninsula. But the fact is, that's how they really fine-tuned their horsemanship and their horses. In the Baroque times, though, and that's when our horses reached their pinnacle in the royal menages of stables, because then they turned that into an art form. And that's when all of these unbelievable movements, like what we call the airs above the ground, where the horse is on his hind legs and he hops 50 feet, always on his hind legs. And also the capriole, where they jump up and they kick out. And I'm sure many people, many of your audience have seen those movements. But that was the artistic side of it. And all of the royal stables throughout Europe had those kinds of trainers and also those horses, because that was like a diplomatic thing. You know how today we bring out our guns and all of that stuff on parades? Well, that was their thing, because cavalry was so very important in those days. Right. So the Spanish horse was the royal horse of Europe, and that's why Sylvia Locke wrote her book, The Royal Horse of Europe. That was the title. So
Tina might get the award for the most fascinating guest in 11 years.
Oh, wow. I thought I had that award.
It's so interesting. There's so much. It's so, and people can come and literally have a weekend of learning all of this about these breeds.
And you know, what we wanted to do was educate people, because it's not just, you know, for people to come to our educational events, they will learn things that you can apply to all breeds.
Yes,
we certainly can.
Well, unfortunately, that was the sound that we have to stop.
I know. But you can find out more. You can go on Facebook, go to the Iberian Showcase on Facebook. You can learn everything. The website, you can click it right from there. It can take you to all the information. Every single person should be going to this event, because it's going to be phenomenal.
And I think we need to get Tina back after the event to tell us more about what happened at the event.
I agree. And I'm going to tell you, you do not have to be a horse person to love this event. So you need to get your ticket now and make sure you're there. You're going to absolutely love it.
Are we going to get to go?
Of course.
Okay,
you
good.
are. We're coming back for the last segment of the show, so stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet. And to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. Ocala Dog Ranch offers a variety of services for your dog, including agility training, barn hunt training, board and train, boarding long and short term, daycare, day training, dock diving training and competitions, disc dog, swimming lessons and pool rentals, lure coursing and obedience training classes. Check out Ocala Dog Ranch at ocaladogranch.com. Ocala Dog Ranch is your home away from home for your dog and more.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, also online at ttdistributors.com.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
Epic Equine Veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options. Become a better, brighter, and younger you.
The Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And this is
Tina Veter.
There you go.
Yay,
Look, we've got her trained already. She actually wasn't going to stay for the last segment, but we thought we needed to keep her because she was so good and fascinating and interesting. So maybe she'll want to comment on Dancing Pete Rhoda's tip of the week.
Dancing Pete's tip of the week, brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal.
Throw your arms around, they'll throw you a little out of balance.
That was a half pass, Tina said. I liked it.
Okay.
No, it's good. Brought to you by Wildlife Works. If you have critters in your barn or on your farm that you do not want to have around your horses, Wildlife Works are the folks to talk to.
So today's tip of the week is do or do not. There is no try. Famous quote from Yoda in Empire Strikes Back. So I teach a lot and people go, well, I'm going to try to do that. And I go, no, you're going to do it. And they go, well, I'm probably not going to get it done today. And I said, that's fine. As long as you keep doing it until it happens, that's all I care about. But when you say try, I always say define try. The definition of try is doing without completion. So when you say, I'm going to try to make it to dinner with you, that means you're probably not going to complete it.
I'm going to try and get my donkey's feet trimmed.
Then we're not going to complete it. We're going to do it. It might not happen tomorrow, but we're going to get it done eventually. So that's my tip of the week is make sure you say, I'm going to do this with my horse. It might not happen this week, but it's eventually going to happen because you're doing it. You're getting closer to doing it.
Yes, and not just that, but to run off that, is there is power in what you think and power in what you say, and you have what you say. So if you say it out loud and hear it and it gets back in and settles down, you'll accomplish it.
You're programming yourself. That's so important because everything you say out loud, even writing something down, really solidifies it.
It does.
Yeah. Well, I always say horsemanship is more about the human than it is the horse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it really, and you'll be surprised what you think and say, how much that affects your horse, because I've had some difficult horses in my life that were rescue jobs that needed quite a bit of help. And I'm going to tell you, the positive attitude with those horses was the stark difference between naughty ponies that I had when I was a little girl that stayed naughty because I didn't have that I can do it attitude.
That's right.
So even if you have a difficult horse or a very green horse or a horse that's got a lot of issues that someone else created, you've got to have that positive attitude of I am going to do it.
That's one of the things I change first when I have the difficult horses come to me or go help somebody is if you don't think this horse is going to change, it's not going to change. So you can't try to change it. You have to do it.
Mindset.
And I think it's intention too. They feel that.
Yes, ma'am.
They do.
Yeah, when you have an intention that you don't even have to say something to them, but they can feel that energy.
Oh, they can. They
pick
know
up
if you're
everything.
confident and if you are positive. Absolutely. That's spot on. And if you own horses, you probably own at least one dog. So here's Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch.
The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. If you only teach your dog one thing, teach them to come when you call them. Could be an emergency, the dog could have run out of the car or run out of the front door, and you want your dog to come back. We don't want anything bad to happen to anybody's dog. But you have to practice this. Do it in a joyful, happy voice. Maybe take a lesson just on how to call your dog when you need them. The only thing that I care about my dogs do, I'm not a guy that's rigid on discipline or anything, but I do like my dogs to come when I call them. It's for safety. So check out with a trainer or go on YouTube or buy a book There's plenty of reasons to train your dog to come when called. Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil, one more mention for Ocala Dog Ranch and Boo, because he's got a fun event coming up. But because Boo Splash, October 26th at 9 a.m., make sure your dog's wearing a costume. And man, I just love this man. He dropped off a bunch of dog food and diapers for us today to make sure that got to all of the troubled areas after the hurricane. So Neil, we love you and appreciate you very, very much. You are an awesome guy. And we're blessed to know you. So we have a few other events that we didn't get mentioned because we were yakking away as usual. Here's one that's coming up that's going to be a lot of fun. December 7th at the Mary Sue Rich Community Center to support the wonderful Stirrups and Strides Therapeutic Riding Center.
Las Vegas Live.
Yes, that's my costume, by the way. I just have to find it somewhere.
I've got it for you. I have a whole bunch of costumes.
Oh, look at that. I'm done. Look at that. I'm good.
Horses are my thing.
Me too.
Well,
then,
no.
But I just don't have that one. So I'm fortunate enough to have been asked to be the MC for this event. I'm very honored and excited to do that. And the theme is Las Vegas, and you need tickets or a table. A single ticket suggested donation is $100, and that includes your dinner and the casino night and silent
lots of
auctions.
entertainment. I've already heard
Yes.
there's a whole list of entertainment like you're at Vegas.
And you can't go out for a nice dinner for that. So this is a whole evening of wonderful good time. And as I said, Las Vegas themed. So December 7th, get that on your calendar, and you can go to stirrupsandstride.com/events, and you can get your tickets or reserve a table and sponsor one now. Remember, what these folks do for disabled kids and adults and veterans is life-changing.
And they're
with
doing
horses.
a Elvis impersonation contest.
And
so wear your best Elvis.
Yeah, and if you want to see dancing Pete Rhoda as Elvis, I can promise you he'll be there in his tight white pants.
Oh my goodness.
What else do we
I'm
have
the
that we
clown of
missed?
the
You are.
events.
We've got, oh yes, of course, here we go. And actually your toughest time in the horse capital of the world is deciding what to go to, because there's so much good going on in October, but I think you can do it all. I really believe you can do it all.
Lisa will.
I will do it all. I absolutely will. The BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, is having an adoption event again in Ocala to find good homes for wild horses or burros. And I'm going to tell you, this event is phenomenal. These horses are $125. They are some beautiful, amazing horses that have been brought in and are looking for good homes. This will be at the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion on Jacksonville Road.
October 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Yep. And listen, if you go and watch the spectacular, you're going to want a horse anyway, so you know.
There you go.
But we do want to just remind you that not everybody is the right person to adopt a Mustang. So please be wise about that. You do need certain criteria and conditions to adopt a horse like this, because it is wild. And if you're not an expert on starting a wild horse and handling a wild horse, you need experts in your circle to help you. So we encourage these. We certainly encourage getting all of these horses adopted, but we want to make sure they go to forever homes and that they're in the best hands, and that nobody gets hurt in that process. So make sure that you do at least have good advice on this and have the proper setup. You can go to their information, to the Bureau of Land Management, to find out what those requirements are. But even if you don't want to adopt one, go by and have a look, because they're just beautiful and amazing horses to go and see. So October 17th, 18th and 19th, and we're going to try and get them all adopted again. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Piranha Family Foundation, 3rd annual Piranha Family Foundation Charity Golf Tournament.
Yep.
Benefiting.
This is the 3rd year. Canines for Warriors, Heart of Florida Youth Ranch, and Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses, who of course do some of the best work in the whole world. Amazing folks who visit all our Marion County public schools with horses, visit therapy centers, hospitals, and hospice. And that's on November the 8th. Golfing. Lots of fun. Gala. All sorts of good things. Live auction, awards, and prizes. You're going to have a good time. So make sure you sign up for that. We have to go. Tina, you were amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here with us.
It was a pleasure. It really was.
Check out the Iberian Showcase. You're going to love it. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County,
or not.
Happy horsing around until the same time next week.
See ya.